Awesome. We are live. Hello, fam. Welcome to the another session of your Hackathon 2.0. I am Shiv from Web3 and today here we have Austin, who was a YouTuber, sort of a content creator, presently working as a developer slash mentor at Ethereum Foundation. Austin, firstly, thank you very much for joining us today. So, give a quick intro about
Thank
yourself
you.
and tell us the cool stuff you are building at Ethereum.
Yeah, so I do a lot of mentoring and education at the Ethereum Foundation and kind of at the Build Guild, kind of separated from the Ethereum Foundation, but we're thinking about developer onboarding and developer tooling. We've built something called Scaffold ETH, which is a quick app building tool. Then on top of that, we built Speedrun Ethereum, which was a curriculum to go through and learn how to build on Ethereum. And then there's a handful of other things that I have to kind of add to that, but we can get to that later in a little bit.
Awesome. Tell us more about your background and how you get started into Web3.
I've always wanted to be a computer programmer. Like I just enjoyed it. And even from like a very young, like high school or junior high age, I was building with computers and loved it. But then later on, I was doing lots of software development. And at some point, I realized that I really wanted my software to be open source. And when I was working for some other folks that wouldn't let me open source my software, that sort of pushed me more toward open source, more toward public goods, more toward Ethereum. I was learning Docker and I was doing a Docker deep dive, and I had all this infrastructure and code, and I built an app that runs on top of Docker that helps you scale things. We weren't able to open source it, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, okay, I got to go do something else. And I was doing a deep dive on Docker and kind of missed Ethereum the first time. But then the second time Ethereum went crazy, I saw it and I got in and started playing with smart contracts, and I loved it. Fell in love, and I've been doing that ever since.
Awesome. In 2022, when I began my Web3 journey, you are the first true Web3 developer. I am aware of. I have worked with many of your tools like Scaffold it, Build.it, and there are many tools I have worked from your side. I'm curious, like, why are you so fascinated with smart contracts and Ethereum ecosystem?
I think I don't know exactly what it is. I think there's something about okay, so there's a kind of a buzzword going around, but hyperstructure is the buzzword. And there's something about a hyperstructure that to me is very, very interesting. Some kind of credibly neutral platform that people can use, and not just like let's talk about Uniswap. Uniswap is not just for swapping tokens back and forth, but you also provide liquidity, and anyone can come and provide that liquidity. So one developer can deploy a simple smart contract, and then users can use that smart contract to swap, but also liquidity providers can come along and provide the liquidity within that smart contract. So the developer really has to just kind of build the game, and then the players of the game can all play it. And that to me is like really, really fascinating, that it's not some kind of top down centralized controlled uh, vending machine. It's like an open public vending machine that anybody can get to. And I always use this analogy of the vending machine, like something you would go to buy a candy from or something like that. In this case, someone can put the vending machine down, but other people could provide the things that are sold within the vending machine, and they can earn the profits on it. And I think that's just like a really interesting model where anyone can build these machines, anyone can interact with them. If you build them correct, they're credibly neutral, they're free, they're useful for someone, anyone can use them. They're censorship resistant. So there's just something about that is really interesting to me. I don't know if we've really seen fully, what the power of Ethereum will bring, but it's just one of those technologies that once I got in and started tinkering around with, it was like, oh, this is gonna change the world, and I want to be part of it, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Can you share your screen and give us a quick speak of any of your tool like scaffold or build.eth?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, let's start with you said ETH build. Let's start with ETH build. Let me throw this. Sorry. Good. So ETH build, if you're not a programmer, ETH build is really good for just getting started tinkering, right? Hopefully I don't have too much. There we go. Yeah. QR code or something. But what you can do is you can bring in like a key pair. And let me see if I can zoom in quite a bit here. You can have a private key, and then you can have an address, right? And we can show you how to maybe sign and recover with that private key, right? You'd put the private key in here and your message would come across the network. Or maybe you want to like look at like blockchain stuff, right? We can bring in a blockchain, and we can bring in my MetaMask. Where is that? Yeah. And if I unlock it, there's my address. So then I could do something like get my balance, right? So here would be my balance on Ethereum, right? There's my balance on Ethereum. Or you could go like, and watch this. It'll do this nice little thing where it takes it to, it does like a from way. So I have 1.9 ETH in this account, right? Or you could do something like talking to a smart contract itself, where you plug in the address and the ABI, some object, and then you get the contract components. So this is just like a fun little tinkering platform where you can kind of play with a lot of different blocks, and you can kind of wire them up in a way where you can tinker around or see or just play around with concepts of Ethereum. This I would say is more for folks that don't know how to program. If you know how to code, you should dive right into Speedrun Ethereum. Speedrun Ethereum is where I would like to recommend like most developers come. This is targeted at developers. If you're a good traditional developer, Web 2 developer, and you're looking to get into Web 3, looking to get into Ethereum, Speedrun Ethereum is the spot to go. It's going to take you through a handful of challenges and really teach you exactly what Ethereum is good at, and show you some of those like aha moments that you need to have to really really get what's going on here. And I can dive into this more, but you want me to show you here? Let me just show this real quick. One really cool part of this is you get this. So I've installed Scaffold ETH. Scaffold ETH is the tool that's sort of at the base of Speedrun Ethereum, and Scaffold ETH is an app building tool. But the really nice piece of it is you have a smart contract here, okay, and you yarn deploy that smart contract. You just get kind of in a routine of yarn deploying, and then you have your smart contract to interact with right over here. So this is kind of like Remix, but on localhost, where you can really kind of like start tinkering around. So this is the trick here. Watch what happens. Let's add an address public, and let's call it Austin, and let's set it equal to this for some reason, right? And then if I hit save and I deploy that, we're going to see it show up over here. See how that showed up right there? Isn't that nice? And that's not really me. Let's use my actual address here. There we go. Let's put that in there. Okay, and then let's redeploy it. You'll see this address is going to change, right? There we go. So see how that changes? Now what you can do is you can also have a function, right? So this function is a set purpose function, and it's just like a greeter. It takes a greeting. So if we wanted to just call this, we could say, like hello world, and I hit send. Oh, I don't have any money for gas. Here we go. Hello world, and I hit send. Then we update the purpose. You can see how I can just make a call here, and it's going to make it's calling this function, setting the purpose, and then we can see that we can read the purpose here. But you can add all sorts of new things in. Like maybe let's create a mapping. Let's make it public, and let's call it balances, right? And then let's set the balance in the constructor of Austin to 100 ether, right? Oh man, I wish I had 100 ether. And let's go ahead and deploy that. And so what's going to happen now is this new mapping is going to get added to our smart contract, and we can go ask the mapping, what is the balance of Austin? And it's like, oh, here it's 100 ETH, right? And we could even, make a function called transfer or something like that. It would be an address to, and oh man, I should be using Copilot for this. uint 256 amount. And what the transfer? Oh, well, it was going to do it for me. Let's see if it will. Yeah, there we go. There's the transfer function. Let's see if this works. Let's deploy it. I'm not even going to look at the code. I just let VS Code put it in for me. And okay, so now we should have a transfer function, right? So if I create another address over here and go to localhost, so this guy's address, and I go ahead and I try to send him, let's transfer 50 to this guy. Oh no, not enough funds. Maybe I just need to do, wait, how many do I have? Oh, it's doing balance. No, that's right. Balances needs to be greater than the amount I put in. Yeah, this would work. Okay, let's see. What's my balance? Yeah, I have 100 ether. Oh, this is value. No, that's right. Huh. I don't know what I'm doing there. Not enough funds. Something's going on. But this is what you're going to do with Scaffold ETH, is you're going to tinker around with Solidity. You're going to throw things into a smart contract and try them out and test your assumptions, and then you can tinker with them in the front end. So I can deploy here, and then I can get the interface of it over here, and I can tinker with it. And you're going to really want to use Solidity by example too. This is like the core learning right here. You grab Solidity by example, you have Scaffold ETH over here, you make changes to your contract and you deploy them and tinker with them here. And you just get in that routine, that pattern, that cycle of tinkering, trying things, shipping things. Then eventually you can ship this to production, and it will be a production level app. And that's Speedrun Ethereum, that's Scaffold ETH, that's the tooling that I'm working on. Sorry, that was like a quick and crazy demo.
That's awesome, actually. Yeah. You have been talking about public goods for a long time, right? What are the primary characteristics of a public good in context of Web3, and how does it differs from traditional public goods?
Ooh, that's interesting. I feel like I'm not the best person to speak about public goods. I'm like a builder trying to build public goods funding mechanisms, but I don't know like all the good keywords about public goods. I know they're sort of like non-rivalrous. Okay. Let me zoom into the question. The question is, how are they different in Web3, right? And I think the answer to that is they're more prevalent. I think we have a lot more public goods in Web3 because Web3 is based on open source software. It's based on a very composable technology where everybody who's building is usually building something in public, and it's usually something that's going to go onto a blockchain that's public and anybody can use. So generally the things we're building are sort of like these generic components that anyone can use, kind of like going back to Uniswap. Uniswap is a public good, right? It's a contract just sitting there waiting for anyone to provide liquidity to it, and people can swap using that liquidity, and the people who provide liquidity earn fees on it. And so all of a sudden everyone has a way to swap, everyone can provide liquidity for that. So even though there's like a company around it, imagine if that smart contract like was just, I mean, it just is for LP providers. I don't think Uniswap makes any money off of that. Like, so let's see, a public good in Web3. I don't know if it's, I don't know. I think there's just lots more public goods because everything is a lot more public and everything is a lot more open source and shared. And it's all digital too. Things like Harburger taxes, we can't do in real estate, but we can do them in digital real estate. And so I think we can tinker around with a lot of these cool mechanisms in Ethereum where we can't just do that, you know, in a neighborhood, right? We can't like start with paving roads or something like that. We need to start with something digital that's easy for us to play around with. And I think that Ethereum is that thing, or is at least the tool for that thing. I don't think I really answered your question though.
How can we improve the security and reliability of Web3 applications, and what are the steps you recommend for developers to build more secure and robust applications?
This one's tricky. I'm also not a great person to speak about security. You saw me just writing a smart contract there and letting AI fill it in, right? I think that like there's a handful of things that you want to do before you take an app live on mainnet. You want to go to Code Arena and you want to get a lot of audits and you want to get a lot of eyes on it. I think in the beginning when you're building these things, you don't want to build something that's very like super complex. You want to build simple smart contracts that kind of do one single job and do it very well. And you want to use things like Open Zeppelin, things that come off the shelf that have been vetted by other builders. So instead of building your own token from scratch, you would inherit the Open Zeppelin token, and you would know that a lot of that stuff is already right. So I think inheriting good standards, I think keeping things very simple, and then I think doing lots of audits and doing a big like system-wide audit before you go to production is probably my advice. But also like don't be afraid to tinker, put stuff out on a test net right away, get apps in your users' hands and tinker around with them on a low value network. Don't be afraid of deploying. I think that like we do want to be very safe and we do want to be very secure, but we also want people to be innovating and trying new things and pushing the boundaries. And I think there's a trade-off there, and it's somewhere in the middle.
Cool. What advice do you have for developers who are just starting to explore Web3 development, and how can they best prepare themselves for the success in this field?
I think so. If they're a developer and they're a decent developer, I think speedrun Ethereum. I think you want to go to speedrun Ethereum and you want to just like go through that curriculum. It's like 2 or 3 challenges. You'll knock them out pretty quickly, but they're designed in a way where you're going to discover the important parts of Web3. And so I would say start with speedrun Ethereum. And then once you get through the speedrun, I think it's about, you know, there's sort of 3 major steps. The first major step is just learning Solidity. But if you're a decent developer, you're going to learn Solidity quickly. The second is sort of getting the idea of the thing, figuring out the technology, figuring out how to deploy, figuring out how to create something that people want. And then I think the third thing is just getting in a routine of shipping small things until you find something that works. So yeah, I think that I don't even know if I have great advice. I have this other thing. Let me share. Is it okay if I go on a small tangent and share a thing real quick? Yeah. Let me share. So once you go through speedrun Ethereum here and you get through most of these challenges, you'll get down here and you'll build a DEX. Once you build a DEX, that's basically like Uniswap v2 and a state channel and a multi-sig. Once you build this, you're going to have a pretty good understanding for how to build decently complex smart contracts. Then at that point, I have this like tech tree. So I say that you should build your own command line next. So build your own CLI tool that allows you to, inspect a transaction, read from a smart contract, write to a smart contract, read events from a smart contract. There's a handful of things that you can do with your own CLI, and then it's the dice game, the decentralized exchange. You should run your own node. You should build a smart contract wallet and learn how smart contract wallets work. The multi-sig, signature stuff, the Merkle NFT, right? Build a Merkle tree. So this is more for like intermediate developers. And you asked me like how to get started, but I just wanted to show this because there's just this like huge breadth of things that you can work on. This is the tree before I got started. So it's like, oh man, here's speedrun Ethereum, and then it just goes into this like crazy tree. Look at this crazy tree. But this is all the cool stuff that are kind of like things you can build on Ethereum and things that you should get into, and just the breadth of possible things to build. Zero knowledge up here at the top. So many cool zero knowledge things. So the point I'm trying to make here is that go through speedrun Ethereum. You'll get the curriculum, you get the concepts, you'll get the understanding of how and why, and then go do this like tech tree thing and just go build a whole bunch of different things and just try different things. And at that point, you'll be ready to build a product on Ethereum or get hired by organization.
Uh, that's pretty long. Yeah. How did you
That's a
see
lot.
information? How did you see like Web3 evolving in the next 5 to 10 years, and what are the new opportunities and challenges will be arise in time?
I'm not great at this. I can try. I can do my best to guess. I think that
Yes.
there's a lot smarter people out there, but my guess is that Ethereum is going to get easier to use. Right. I think we're going to have some account abstraction stuff. There's going to be a handful of things that's just going to make it a little easier and a little less abrasive. So right now, you have a private key, and as soon as you lose that private key, you lose all your money. And that's just really, really bad. And if you leak that key, someone can steal all your money. So you have to have that key or you don't have your money, and if someone else has that key, they can take your money. And I think that alone is scary enough for some people that they don't want to mess with it. And I think that in the future we'll have smart contract wallets, and we sort of have this now, but I think in the future we'll have a better version of it. But we'll have smart contract wallets that can do delegated execution that you can send around to people. We'll have more account abstraction. Okay, so the accounts will be easier, and then also I think the network will be faster and cheaper. Right, we're seeing L2s, we're seeing rollups, we're seeing zk rollups, all this stuff coming. So we're hopefully going to be faster and cheaper, and possibly even more private on some L2, and all of that is going to settle to Ethereum. So I think maybe, this is a guess, maybe in the future Ethereum will be used less and less as a mainstream chain and more as like a settlement chain. And then there's L2s that will be used more mainstream. And we'll have this account abstraction stuff that will make it easier for folks to deal with the whole I just lost my private key thing. So something along those lines, but who knows? I have no idea. I'm not great at predicting the future.
That's perfect. Hmm. Adding to that, what are some of the most exciting new developments in the Web3 space that you are currently working on, and how did you see this development impacting the complete ecosystem in the future?
Yeah, so it's definitely not me working on it. Much smarter people. But I think the like we said, the L2 ecosystem, the account abstraction ecosystem, the zero knowledge, like the ZK stuff is really interesting. Um, there's a handful of people making good wallets that I think they're like, just wallets are just not very good right now, and we need better wallets. There's a handful of people tinkering around with smart contract wallets like the Gnosis Safe, and I think that's really good. Yeah, a lot of ZK games. I'm really interested in always on autonomous gaming and how gaming will change on chain and what that will look like. Um, public goods funding and a lot of things that you kind of brought up. We have social and identity stuff. There's a handful of just interesting things, but usually it's something that I didn't even expect. And so I would guess if we come back in a year and we say what was the hottest thing of last year, my guess is it's going to be something like L2s, ZK, privacy, account abstraction, possibly gaming, something along those lines, but I have no idea. It's probably going to be something totally different.
I mean, let's come on step. Back. So you are one of very energetic person. In this Web3 ecosystem. So when it comes to the developer thing, we have very less physical exercises, and we also suffer with some mental issues. So how do you keep up with your mental and physical fitness?
So for me, I have 3 kids, and so I'm up early. Before this call, I walked my kid to the bus stop, and my other kid's right out here, and I gotta wrestle with him as soon as I'm done with this call. So for me, I stay young and active by getting outside and playing with my kids and all of that stuff. But I don't think that works for everybody. I think I think that like the biggest thing that I push people to is, if you're not going outside and getting a walk in the morning and going outside and getting a walk in the evening, you need to do it. It's just more important. Like, turn off the NFTs, put away OpenSea and Blur for a little bit, and go for a walk and get some sun in your eyes. But I'm also not a doctor, and I don't take great care of myself. I shouldn't drink beer, and I drink beer. But yeah, mental health is key. Get away from the screen. Get away from the stupid NFTs. Go do something fun. Get some sun in your eyes. Absolutely. I think that's something we don't talk about enough, and I'm glad you brought it up.
Excellent. Tell me 3 names who has been most influential to you.
Oof. I mean, Vitalik, right? We got to say Vitalik. There were just a ton of people early in the Ethereum space that were big. Let's see. Can I just like share my screen?
Please.
Let me just like try to like Google some people, right? like Alex Van de Zandt, AVSA. This guy did a lot of early ENS stuff, but also account abstraction and like a lot of talks on how UX and UI will work. Nick also is another really good one, right? The Nick.eth from ENS. Like he was an early person that did a lot of awesome stuff. Oh man, I mean, there's so many. Like Martin and Stefan from Gnosis have had a big impact on me. Mike Demerai, right, and kind of Balance before that. Those guys were doing a lot of stuff. Pedro from Wallet Connect. Let's see, where is he? There he is, Pedro from Wallet Connect. He's an old friend and an awesome builder. And then the new guys, right? We've got like Nader and Patrick coming up now, and they're killing it. They're doing so many things. They're building and showing off so many awesome things. Nader and Patrick. Where are they? There we go. There he is. Yeah, I mean, if I tried to list everybody, it would take me forever because there's so many people that have had such an awesome impact and taught me so much to build. But like, I don't know, like Vitalik is awesome. Owaki, right, from Gitcoin had a big influence on me. So many, like a lot. But like, if I start listing them off, I'm going to not be able to remember some people, and I feel bad about that.
Good. What books are you reading right now?
We got some of them.
Yeah. Give us 3 book recommendations from yourself.
Oh, what was it? Sorry,
what
did you say? I think book recommendations. Oh man, I don't really have a lot of great book recommendations. Someone recommended a really good book to me a few years ago, and it was Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. Do you know Good Strategy, Bad Strategy? That's a good one. I don't read a lot of books though. I'm reading content constantly, but the content is fresh. I rarely go to a book for information because the stuff I'm studying changes every day. So I don't have great. Maybe Mastering Ethereum. Maybe that. I'm gonna throw Mastering Ethereum. I'm gonna maybe did Vitalik have a book recently?
Yes.
That's just me being a shill though. I have no idea. So yeah, I would say Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, Mastering Ethereum. I don't know. Catch 22. Some entertainment. Go out and read a book in the sunshine.
Excellent. So yeah. Thank you, Ashin, for joining this session. Any closing notes from your side?
Just go. I mean, like, go speedrun Ethereum. Like the thing I showed here, speedrunethereum.com. Go hit that up. Go through the speedrun. If this is too much of too abrasive, we have this Web 2 to Web 3 curriculum. Let me see if I can share that with you. I'll share this Web 2 to Web 3 curriculum with you, but it starts from scratch. It basically starts from like, okay, so you're a developer, but you know nothing about Ethereum. We're going to do an introduction. We're going to talk through wallets and gas. We're going to talk through dApps and DNS and DEX. We talk through different token standards. We talk through like, you know, your transactions getting stuck and having bad, you know, the wrong gas limits or multi-sigs and L2. Then we get into scripting and we take you through scripting and testing. And then finally we go through the speed run. So if you need something to prepare you or get you more ready, if the speed run seems to be a little bit daunting, I'll give you this link, and that's a good place to start if you're not doing the speed run. Ooh, how do I chat? Here, I'll send it to your Telegram.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can include that with show notes or something like that. It's just a good getting started for developers that's like starting from scratch. Get through the speed run, go build a hyperstructure. That should be the goal. Anybody listening that's a developer, go speed run Ethereum and go build your own hyperstructure. And that's a good challenge.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Austin, for joining this session.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Happy Bowtie Friday.
Just